Hello and welcome to the official NoN-eSports YouTube channel. I am Cadoink, and today, up in the top left of Akalon Wastes, we have our red Terran player, our NoN-eSports player. He is NoN.ReasN. And in the bottom right, his opponent, the blue Terran from Team ESCEU, he is NotAvaliable. Guys, I am back. I have been gone all summer. Haven't been able to cast too much StarCraft 2 because I was in Texas doing some internship work. A little bit of programming here, a little bit of programming there, so I did not get to cast. I did not get to play very much, but I did get to buy a new computer. So for those of you who didn't know, I have been running StarCraft and playing StarCraft on a laptop for the past probably 5, 6, 7 years of my life. It's been bad. It's been bad. I've never been able to play StarCraft on the highest settings. I've never been able to record StarCraft on the highest settings. And it actually affected my desire to cast. So for those of you who didn't know, I started my YouTube channel about 1.5 years, maybe 2 years ago. Not quite sure. And I had a blast casting, doing co-casts, playing some other games as well, just making videos. But as time went on, my laptop just could not keep up, and it basically couldn't even keep up at 30 frames per second on medium. So I kind of got discouraged from casting, and I slowly started to stop just out of the pain of watching the little red fraps numbers in the top right say like 20 frames, 15 frames, and it was really kind of depressing. So over the summer I got a job, got a computer, and now if you notice, I'm recording on the highest settings of StarCraft 2. I have everything set to the max. I'm right now at like 60 frames per second. Everything is great, everything is good, and so now I am so excited to cast for you guys once again, to get my YouTube channel going back up, getting the NoN-eSports channel pumping out some more StarCraft 2 replays. And it's going to be a great year for StarCraft, I think. It's going to be a great year for NoN-eSports, and it's going to be a great year for CadoinkStudios. So, going back to this game, I asked ReasN if he would be so kind as to send me a replay, and he said, I have this really cool TvT, I'm excited to send this to you, and I'm excited to cast it. So, let's see, not too much going on. We have a Reaper going out for ReasN, very usual play. There's nothing too out of the ordinary that we're seeing. Most of the time you either go in TvT, your barracks, you get your gas, and then you go for factory, or barracks, you get your gas, and then you go for a Reaper, which is what we're seeing from ReasN. So two very reasonable, very normal plays. And it looks like NotAvaliable is going to be going for that Hellion play, getting up that double reactor, getting up his factory. It's something very common in TvT. We're seeing all the time. We have an SCV spotting this natural that ReasN has placed down. However, these two Reapers will be able to, force them away. No problem at all. But he has shown his cards. NotAvaliable does know that that Reapers are on the way. So he will be putting down his factory, getting the 2 Hellions up. Wouldn't be surprised to see him get some more Marines pumping out. Another thing you can do is get the Tech Lab up, and you can get your second gas to try to get some siege tanks. But 2 Reapers going up into the main. 2 Reapers should be able to kill off both of these Marines, no problem. And then they're going to go straight into the middle line and see how much damage they can do, and see how many SCVs they can pick off. So far, getting just one. A second one going to be going down, but the 2 Hellions have come. Oh, and picking off one of the Reapers. That's not too good for ReasN. You really want to keep both. Oh, you want to keep at least one of those Reapers up. They're so good for scouting, and they'll, now that in Heart of the Swarm they heal when they're out of combat, you can run them away, put them on some watchtowers, and then hop back in and see what your opponent is doing. Is he going to be going for a Starport? Is he getting Banshee? He did see that there was no second gas, so that's going to be quite useful for ReasN. He knows that there's not going to be any Cloaked Banshee on the way. So ReasN himself looks like he's transitioning into kind of a more traditional bio play. He's getting up that combat shield for his Marines, 2 barracks with reactors, and in fact we don't see any factory for ReasN, so going very Marine heavy. But look at this, a lot of Hellions moving up to the ramp. There's not too much to kill in the natural, so they will be trying to do some damage to these 3 structures to see if they can go in. However, Hellions kill buildings so incredibly slowly, so combat shields looks like it will be able to finish before this picks off. ReasN just making sure is sending out some SCVs, just double checking, and combat shield does of course finish. These Marines should be able to pick off 4 of these Hellions, but with 2 more and a Viking coming in, I don't know if he can pick them all off. Hellions are quite good against Marines. Combat shields will, of course, help. Nice little position for the Hellions thanks to this Viking. However, one of the Hellions going down to this nice little Marine force. A little bit of back and forth going on between Reason and NotAvaliable, trying to kill off this supply depot while not losing Hellions, which he's doing. And you really don't want to be losing Hellions in this position. So this is some great target firing going on from Reason. He's just picking these off individually, slowly whittling the count. 2 more Hellions on its way, another Viking, and NotAvaliable has Reason in a nice little contain. However, the Marine count has gotten too high, not too many of them dying, and he will be able to push forward, and I think these Hellions are going to have to go home. Nice split going on from Reason, making sure his Marines are not in a vertical line this way. Keeping them in a line like this will keep the Hellions from doing too much damage. So the Hellions will, of course, have to return home. Command Center just now turning into an orbital for NotAvaliable. Reason's is finished, and he's putting down quite a bit of mules, transferring some SCVs. We can see he has a nice SCV count in his main, a nice SCV count in his natural, and he's finally getting up his factory. +1 armor just about complete for our NoN-eSports player, so his Marines are going to be quite beefy, getting that combat shield first, then getting the armor first. It seems like Reason in this game is looking to play very defensively, opting to go for those defensive upgrades for his Marines rather than the 2 offensive ones that he's getting now, like Stim and like +1. And now we have a Cloaked Banshee on the way for our Blue Terran player. Looks like he's going to be getting 2 Banshees up, sending them across the map. Banshees becoming ever so popular since the most recent patches. So we'll have to see how this does. It looks like NotAvaliable is going for a more mech-type play. A lot of Hellions, a couple Vikings. But the Marines are moving across the map. Are they going to run into this Banshee? It looks like they are not. And this could be very, very good or very, very bad for Reason. If the Banshee does a lot of damage and he doesn't have a lot of Marines at home, which it looks like he's getting a good number, then the Banshees are going to do a lot of damage. But if this push does a lot of damage, then Reason could be in a very good position, picking off as many of these Hellions as he can, keeping his Marines, trying to keep them split up, but a lot of them are going down to these Hellions, and I actually think this trade is favorable for NotAvaliable. Yeah, all the Marines going to be going down here. A Cloaked Banshee, so he's revealing that Banshee, and I wouldn't be surprised to see some turrets start to go up. The Banshee is cloaked. It has come into the natural. It's going to try to pick off as many SCVs as it can, picking off 3, I believe, right now. No, just 2. And he's going to wait for a scan. A scan goes down, and the Marines come in. The Banshee moving away. It will be fine. And he can try to come in at a later position. At the same time, some Hellions moving up into the natural. But here's a Marauder, and Marauders are going to be quite good against these Hellions, and will force them back. Oh, but the Banshee's coming in. Will it cloak? Will NoN.ReasN be able to pick it off? It looks like NotAvaliable is not feeling it right now, and he will be returning home. So, turret in the natural. Turrets, no turrets in the main. I think that, ooh, one of the Banshees flying into a pack of Marines and going down. That's not good for NotAvaliable. And so let's see where our players are standing right now. If we look at the workers killed, Reason has killed 3 workers to the 2 that NotAvaliable has killed. So he's a bit ahead on that, but not too much. If we look at the income tab, it's basically dead even. A little bit of a gas favor for Reason, as NotAvaliable is not getting gas yet in this extractor, just now getting that out. He is getting a missile turret of his own. Little does he know that NoN.ReasN is not going for the Banshees, but instead going for medevacs. So a very traditional play from Reason. Very traditional, going for that big Marine ball with Hellions, with Marauders, with medevacs. Nice Marine Marauder medevac play from Reason. So Hellions moving forward. Looks like they're going to run into a couple of Marines. Hellions healing the Marines up. Medevacs healing the Marines up. And I think that Reason is going to be able to push through here just fine. NotAvaliable will have to return home. At the same time, we have a Banshee going up the top side of the map. He's going to be going towards the main. And like I said earlier, NoN.ReasN has not put any turrets up in the main, so this Banshee might be able to do a lot of damage. We'll have to see if there are any scans available. 1 in the main, 1 in the natural. And it is going for a command center of his own. So at the same time, Reason putting on a little bit of pressure, trying to stay in the front of NotAvalable's base. Looks like he's going to be going around checking for a third. A very good move. Would like to see him send a Marine here, check for a third there. Banshee at the same time is going in to the main of Reason. Looks like he's going to spot those 2 more barracks going down. He's going to spot the tech lab going down on the factory, and he's going to try to pick up some Marines. So at first the Banshee not really attacking anything worthwhile, just now picking up a Marine and trying to pick up as many of these SCVs as possible. Turret is not quite finished. I don't know why NotAvaliable is not attacking the SCV that's building the turret, and that was a really bad Banshee attack. Probably was distracted. He's a little bit worried about this Marine Marauder ball in the front of his base. He's trying to get his siege tanks up, trying to get his Hellions spread, and continuing to pump out Hellbats and siege tanks. So let's get in those that +1 upgrade for his mech. We see that the Terran player is, the Terran player NoN is about at 2-2. And 2-2 Marine Marauder is going to be very, very good against 1-0 mech, especially with the mobility that Bio offers you as a Terran player. He will be able to start doing drops with these medevacs. He will be able to continually try to prevent NotAvaliable from moving out. You see that this position is very, very strong for NotAvaliable. He is basically going to kill any Marine Marauder ball that goes up either of these ramps. If NoN just went up the ramp with this force, he would absolutely get crushed. But at the same time, we can see that NoN is moving back and forth across the map. We saw he pulled up here, he pulled over here. He's just bouncing back and forth, trying to prevent NotAvaliable from moving across the map. And that's the kind of problem that we see in mech, is that it's very, very immobile, and that can lead to not being able to put pressure on your opponent. So one of the examples is this third base has gone up a lot earlier for NoN than it did for NotAvaliable. NotAvaliable just kind of getting his up now. He will be a bit ahead on gas as he's getting that double gas, but that's okay, because NoN is going for bio. He doesn't need too much gas. The player who needs gas is the meching player. So at the same time, NoN taking a fourth base just to keep up on the mineral supply. Continuing to put down a turret. We do have a couple Banshees, actually 3 Banshees, a pretty good number of Banshees moving in. They will not be able to deal with that turret, as the SCVs can just repair. Some Marines stepping forward trying to pick them off, but they will not be able to get them. So the Banshee's going home for now. That was a nice attempt by NotAvaliable. These are the kind of things that you need to do. I really love the addition of Banshees in mech play because it gives you some mobility. It gives you the ability to say, I can defend at home. I don't need these Banshees to defend, so I'll move them across the map and see if I can pick off some SCVs here, pick up some SCVs there. So NoN once again moving out to the front of NotAvalable's base. He is going to be looking to try to do some damage to the third of NotAvaliable. Going to be picking off these rocks, I believe. But I don't know if he's going to be able to move in. Nice siege tank count over here. Some nice numbers of Hellbats. And we'll have to see what he decides to do. So Banshee's picking off the reinforcements of NoN. I really like that. But look at this. This is once again the problem of mech. Mech is so mobile, so this little Terran army can move through here and force a lift from this command center. Now, will this ball get destroyed? I'm not sure. The siege tank's just now sieging up. He is going to be moving forward. There are a lot of Hellbats here. They do not have the blue flame upgrade, but they will still be able to pick that off with the sheer number. I would have really liked to see NoN at the same time move up into the natural and try to maybe do some drops on these siege tanks, but not going to happen. At the very least, he lifted this command center. He did force the SCVs to run to the natural, so he's preventing mining time. He killed one of the gases, which is so crucial. If he kills all of NotAvaliable siege tanks, it's going to be much more difficult for NotAvaliable to remax, because he will not have the gas count he needs, as he's not mining gas to the fullest potential that he wants to be mining it. You can see another command center going down for NoN. He has full map control, taking this watchtower as well as this watchtower. One Hellion trying to contest that watchtower and just getting completely shut down by the Marine of NoN. And this is just looking great. Some continual scans going down, checking where's the mech army, where's the mech army. And the second he sees that unsiege and move out, he's going to split up his forces and try to get a nice concave. And uh-oh, NotAvaliable. Starting to get a little bit brave and a little bit bold, and he's going to be moving some siege tanks forward, trying to frog hop them, leapfrog them. I don't know the expression. Forward so that he can finally get some map control. But you can see, I mean, it's the 20-minute mark, and NotAvaliable has made it this far with his army. This is the farthest he's ever been, with the exception of a few Banshees across the map. But yeah, he's not very far, and as a mech player, if you're going to be super defensive like this, you got to take another base. You got to try to use a lot of that mineral income that you're getting. Oh, and this is a great position for reason. There's only one siege tank able to hit this Marine army. He's going to be moving forward and splitting up his Marines and Marauders nicely, doing a lot of damage. The siege tanks are clumped up, and NoN.ReasN is just moving forward and crushing the siege tank line of NotAvaliable. There is a nice line behind this that will be able to clean up the Marine Marauder force of reason. reason will have to return home with his medevacs, and if you see, the supply count has plummeted for our NoN-eSports player. But here's the thing. He'll be able to remax a lot easier because he is dependent on his mineral income, which is quite good, whereas his opponent, his gas income is not quite where he wants to be yet, and remaxing a mech army is going to take a long time. So if we look at units lost, a little bit in NotAvalable's favor, but I actually think that NoN.ReasN is in the stronger position. He's taking a 5th base. He's making a 6th command center, a 7th. No, sorry, that's a starport. That's a starport. Don't worry about it. Getting up more barracks. He's got map control still, and he picked off a large number of siege tanks. So NoN.ReasN in a really good position here. However, 4th base taken for NotAvaliable. He is getting that planetary fortress up. He's getting 2 more factories, so he can continually reinforce his his siege tanks as well as his Hellbats. So NotAvaliable not in a terrible position. He is still ahead in supply. His gas income is starting to go up quite a bit now that he has these extra refineries on his 4th base. Yes, but we'll have to see what happens. If reason gets another fight like that where he can pick off a lot of those siege tanks, it's going to continually push more and more in the realm of reason's favor. Because as he makes these trades and as he adds barracks, he should be able to remax quicker. We can see the remax has been a little bit slower in this case, but once he gets this 5th base saturated, as these SCVs, not these SCVs, I guess he's already transferred SCVs. Oh, but we have a drop going on the right side. He is going to be dropping onto this planetary fortress, and this is the problem with mech once again. We can see that the army is not here, and it's going to take a while to get there. Nice repairing going down on the planetary fortress, but it will go down. A lot of SCVs are going to go down as well as these turrets, and this is huge for reason as the gas income is going to drop once again for NotAvaliable. Trying to send some Hellbats up to pick up this force, but too many Marines and Marauders and medevacs for these Hellbats to do anything, so... but with the Vikings, he'll be able to pick off those medevacs quite quickly. I don't know, he's just trying to decide what to do, siege up those tanks, pick off some Marines with his Hellbats. Oh, the Hellbats are actually walking in and getting crushed. And reason looks like he's going to be going for it, but I don't know if this is a really good position. There's a huge spread of siege tanks here. In fact, there's almost... Oh my gosh, there's so many siege tanks. Yeah, this is actually not a... That's not a good fight for reason to take right there, losing a lot of medevacs and plummeting deep in supply. So he's going to be pulling back, trying to rebuild his Marine Marauder forces. Scan going down, seeing how weak, and this is exactly the opportunity NoN.ReasN was, NotAvaliable was looking for. He's going to be moving forward with his siege tanks, sieging the tanks up, a few of them getting picked off by the Marine Marauder force. Medevacs going down to the Vikings. And NotAvaliable is going to be finally moving across the map for the first time in this game and putting on as much pressure as he can. He's almost got +3 weapons vehicles, but his armor plating, vehicle plating, is really, really low. So we'll have to see how he does, how much pressure he can put on. He's moving the siege tanks forward, getting a little bit bold, moving them as far as he can, but he is quite a bit ahead in supply. Man, he is right up into the, into the middle of reason's base. Medevac flying forward, going to be trying to drop on the siege tank line, but a Viking isn't going to pick it off in time. So nice dropping going down, landing mules. This is so smart. The mules going down to try to... Sorry, I'm learning the controls here. Mules going down trying to get the siege tanks to kill each other. And wow, this is just an absolutely crazy game. Siege tanks moving forward, trying to pick off this barracks as well as put on some more pressure, get closer to that 3rd base. I don't know. I don't know if reason is going to be able to handle this. He's going to move some more medevacs across, going to try to drop once again on the siege tank, and this is quite good because the Hellbat numbers are really low. So another Marine Marauder drop onto these siege tanks, kind of dropping a bit in the middle, but the siege tanks are all attacking each other, and this is working out great for reason. Marauders and Marines moving down, and the siege tank count has dropped dramatically. 13 siege tanks now to who knows how many he had before, and continuing continuing to plummet, and once again, NoN has taken map control and is looking, he's in a great position. He's evened up supplies. The gas count is really low for NotAvaliable. He's only producing 3 siege tanks at a time, and it's going to take him a long time to max up to that 20-30 siege tank count he had before. So another command center moving across the map for NoN to take another base to get more mineral income. If we look at the income tab, NoN is looking really, really good. NotAvaliable throwing down some mules and bumping his up as well. If we look at the unit count, we do have 65 SCVs to 62. So, income-wise, the game is still pretty even. More bases for our NoN-eSports player. Ooh, a nice hit going on to those Marines and Marauders by a couple of siege tanks. Not going to want to take too many of those. However, his medevac count is really nice. And man, this siege tank is just getting some shots. So we do have a medevac going forward, going to be picking off the siege tank. And there are actually a lot of siege tanks there to destroy their friend, but going to be moving back. This is some great dropping going on by NoN. For those of you who have been struggling with TvT, struggling against mech play, doing drops like that are going to be so good if your opponent does not have enough Hellbats, because Hellbats are what you use to kill the Marines and Marauders if they're right on top of your army. Hellbats do not have a very high range. Your siege tanks have a huge range, and that's part of the difficulty behind mech. You know, how do I deal with that kind of back and forth between my very long range unit and my very short range? So NoN-reasN going to be moving forward, stimming into the mech army, splitting up his army quite nicely. A lot of Marauders in the mix, trying to keep his Marines from getting hit by the siege tank fire, and the siege tank count is plummeting. If we look for 15 siege tanks, but they are going to be able to pick off this Marine force and push them back. So once again, NoN just trying to continually lower the siege tank count, lower the siege tank count, make sure his opponent is continuing to build siege tanks while he just continues to build Marines, Marauders, and actually, they've dead evened up on supply. This game is actually quite wild. It's kind of been like what's the expression? It's like what happens when an unstoppable force meets an immovable object. More Marines stemming forward and trying to pick off as much of the siege tank line as possible. And he's actually doing a great job. The high Marauder count and the high medevac count is actually keeping these units alive. And wow, what happened to the tanks there? I guess these tanks were a little bit too far back. So I don't even know. I don't know what else to say. I mean, NoN is doing really well against these little small forces, but once again, it's that immovable object versus an unstoppable force. Supplies are pretty much dead even, just now bumping a little bit in favor of NotAvaliable as he takes this command center and continues to mine as many bases as he can. So NoN does know about this base. He is going to be moving forward and picking it off. He'll be able to get it no problem, as this mech army will take an eternity to get up there. So stimming some Marines and Marauders moving forward, and no problem. Oh, and this is so smart, keeping some Marauders back, knowing that NotAvaliable is going to try to move his siege tank army up to defend. So he will be able to pick off a good number of siege tanks here. I think he got 4 or 5. So smart keeping some of those Marauders behind, and just like he said, picking off that command center no problem. Picking off an SCV, and there's one hidden right here that could sneak back and start building a command center, but I don't think NoN has to worry about that too much. Both players continuing to try to build up their army. It looks like 190 supply for NoN-reasN to the 164 of NotAvaliable. Really liking the position our NoN-eSports player's in. I mean, look at the map control he has. He has just a huge spread across this little area. He's got some army up on this high ground, and he's taking yet another base. Marines and Marauders moving forward, picking off as many of these Hellbats as possible. Siege tanks doing huge damage, though, to the Marine Marauder force. And look at this high Viking count. I mean, it's dwindled the probably, I don't know, 18 medevacs down to 12. So Viking count actually being quite useful in this case. And I like this from NotAvaliable. NotAvaliable moving up, trying to take this watchtower. He really needs to get something to the watchtower. There he goes. Sieging up his tanks and putting down the space. At the same time, NoN is moving his command center over, trying to take that base as well. So both players continuing to try to expand, and right now it looks like this expand is in NotAvalable's court. So Reason, knowing that this whole ridge is defended, is going to just move down and probably kill this base. However, it's basically mined out, so I don't think there's too much to worry about. The Viking count attacking this command center, will they be able to get it? Looks like they are. And at the same time, Hellbats and siege tanks moving forward to pick off this base of our NoN-eSports players. So a huge medevac drop going across the map. Looks like it's going to be going up into the production of NotAvaliable, and this could be so huge because if he's able to pick off the production, then when both players trade their army, Reason will be able to remax and NotAvaliable will not. Some siege tanks here to do some damage. Reason is seeing that and moving his Marines and Marauders forward to pick off as much of that as he can. He will kill off all those siege tanks, and he's just going to try to wreck the production of NotAvaliable. At the same time, NotAvaliable moving forward, trying to do the same, trying to force a base race, but it's not working out in his favor as there are enough Marines and Marauders to deal with this little Hellbat siege tank army, and NotAvaliable will have to tap out. GG. NoN.ReasN taking that game very nicely, just saying, you know what, you're so immobile, you've moved out way too far trying to take your 6th base. I'll just go into your main, kill all your production, and my nice little Marine Marauder reinforcements at home will be able to pick off anything you try to send. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this cast. I'm so excited to be back casting StarCraft 2, my absolute favorite game. I haven't casted in like 3, 4, 5 months maybe, I don't remember. So relearning some of the casting hotkeys, getting used to that new zoom out that that I've learned about. And, you know, in a couple of weeks, should be back in the swing of things, and you should see the same old CadoinkStudio, and hopefully a better Cadoink. I want to get much better. I've been playing random on the ladder to try to learn more about all the races and try to get more well-rounded understanding things. So, yeah, thank you, Reason, for sending me this replay. I enjoy watching your stream quite a bit. Continue to send me replays. Send replays at CadoinkReplays@gmail.com. Information will be in the description below. And I'll continue to cast them. Lias has sent me some games to cast. And I believe I have a game from Hopeless that I need to cast as well. So anyway, thank you so much for watching this cast. There will be more StarCraft 2 coming out of Cadoink in the future. Enjoy.